Hello YouTube, how are you? Good morning. Welcome back to Tom Franklin Art. Today we are here in my lovely neighborhood backyard. There's some firewood back there. and today we're going to be going through some of the materials and items you'll be using in my painting technique that I have, been practicing for the last 3 years. So give me a moment and I will introduce you to the things that I use. So here are basically the items that you use, paints and so forth. Here is my titanium white by Van Gogh. Here's my favorite blue. This is the Prussian blue. It's a little more wintertime, a little darker, a little more intense. Here is your phthalo blue, which I don't use as much. Here is your ivory black. This is your Van Dyke brown. As you can see, it's a very popular color with me. I'm almost empty on this too. Might have to buy a new one soon. This is your burnt umber. It's a lighter brown. It's pretty good for making rocks, and it's also good for coloring your sky and getting a nice dark back tone. This is your sap green. This is a very cool color, very interesting color. You can mix it with your yellows, and you can make very good like grasses and leaves and everything with this. Very, very good color. Here is some of your highlight colors now. Here is your yellow ochre. This is a very good color for fall time. It's like when the leaves turn colors. This is a very interesting one, or for making any type of high grasses to show any summertime things. You can also put this in the sky. Very, very fun color. Your highlighting. This is your Indian yellow, at least that's what they call it, which I use a little bit of, especially good for mixing into, for highlights and things. Now, this is one of my favorite colors. This is called alizarin crimson. It's like a pinkish red color, and you can use this almost anywhere, man. I use it in my mountains. I use it in the skies. I use it in highlights. I use it and when I paint houses and little huts and stuff like that. This is a very good color, and this is also a very useful color. It's why I got such a big tube of it. This is your cadmium yellow. This is a medium. It doesn't really matter, you can get. There's a high one. There's different like shades of them, but as long as you get a good cad yellow, this is very interesting. This is one of my favorite colors. You can mix this with your blues, and you can make a very beautiful green. So some other things I use. Now, this is a gesso primer. This is a black one, and I use this a lot when there's two different ways that I do it. There's you can do a white, which is this here. This is a liquid white. This is a Bob Ross product, and these are the mediums that you use for putting on your canvas, so that you can mix it. You can hear there's a bird out here somewhere. I think he's laughing at me. And you can use these. You put them on your canvas, and you blend your colors on the canvas, and this is what this is for. There's also a liquid clear. There's also a liquid black, and I mainly stick with the white. Now, the gesso you put on first. This is an acrylic-based gesso, as far as I know. You put that on, let it dry for a half hour, 3/4 of an hour, and you can use that. And then you put on one of these transparent colors. If you don't know what transparent colors is, they'll say it on here somewhere. But you can also look online and find out which ones. If not, I'll look online and let you know. But I know that the blues are transparent. You can mix a blue with this awesome, like I said, alizarin crimson, make a beautiful purple. And you put that on your canvas first, and what happens is that then when you put your when you put your titanium white on, which is a opaque color, as you can see there, Van Gogh actually shows you that it's opaque, which is an opaque color. And what happens with that is, you can also see here the sap green is transparent. It shows you here, the little square is transparent. What happens is then when you put the white on, the green or whatever you have on there then comes forth, and it creates some really cool effects. Now, these are the only, for beginner things, this is what I would use. You need a knife. You need a liner brush, a fan brush, a 1 inch, and a 2 inch brush. As you can see, this one has been very beat up and used, but I do a lot of painting. So these are basically the basic 4 things that you need to paint. I'll be using a few more, but at the beginning, get these. Very important, make sure they're natural bristle brushes. I paid a little bit more for these. I think these are like, especially from Germany, I think these are like just like 15 bucks. It's like 12 bucks. I don't know what these are. I can't remember. I bought this at a local store here. I really like this knife. And I also bought this at a local store here in Germany. Also enjoy this one. I'm probably going to change it up and get one with a little bit longer tip on it because I want to see what happens. Very important. Paper towels. Super important. Now, let's get over to some other things I use. This is super important to get a proper easel. Like when I bought an easel at first, I got a cheapo. I bought a very cheap easel. Now we're back. I had a little bit of technical difficulties. And I actually have it here. Let me go take a look-see. Here's one of the easels I bought at the beginning. This is the one my daughter paints on. Very cheap. Not very good. Very flimsy. So I would suggest not using that. I went out and I splurged and got myself this one. I think it was like 250 bucks, but it's very sturdy. It's also made by Bob Ross. Also, you can see it's very dirty because I'm painting, bro. And yeah, you need something that you know that you can push against. That's a little sturdy. What I also like is that it has these bolts that push into the top. That way you can get the full canvas cover, because a lot of them, they have like this little thing that comes over the top or on the bottom. And yeah, I don't like them very much. Of course, you need your canvas yourself. I wouldn't pay, especially at the beginning, I wouldn't buy expensive ones. These are relatively cheap. I can't remember. I think they're like 4 or 5 bucks a piece, but whatever, doesn't matter. So, easel, supplies. Now let's get to things that you're going to also need that I made myself. You can pay for them, but I made them myself. Now this is your cleaning can. Now you can buy one of these, and they're not too expensive, but I made my own. I took, and as you can see, I made my own little mesh, which is like a garden fence that you can buy, or chicken wire, whatever you call it. And in the bottom of there is paint thinner. So you put a little mesh in the top. When you clean your brushes, all the extra paint settles to the bottom. And yeah, I just had a paint can that I used to paint something with. Yeah, and I just use it to clean my brushes at the end of the day. Now, another thing you're going to need, because you don't want to destroy your house, apartment, balcony, or in my case sometimes, my grass, is a beater box. You can also pay for these. These are a little more expensive. And what I did here is I just took an old, I don't know, garbage can that my mother-in-law bought because she likes green a lot for whatever reason. And I just took and drilled holes in the side of it and put a dowel rod in it, put a screw in the side. And yeah, so when you clean your brushes, I demonstrate. So you put it in here, you clean it, you drain it off, you put it in here, and you just beat it against this thing and against the sides, and you clean your brushes, dry it off with a paper towel, boom, ready to go for another day. So, and that's basically all the things you need to start painting. Except for, in my case, a personality and a good ability to talk correctly. So, yeah, whenever the chance provides itself, I will be painting for you guys. And yeah, I'll see you then. Catch you around.